Hello and welcome to the April 6th Hemp Show powered by CannTrade. My name is Mark Restelli. I'm the CEO of CannTrade and the host of the Hemp Show. Next up on the Hemp Show, we have Damon Logan, the co-founder of IOE Hemp Transport. Damon was introduced to the cannabis industry by his cousin, the late Eric Logan, a pioneer in the space who built a multifaceted hemp commodities company. Damon joined Eric's team as a financial analyst, where he was responsible for assessing profitability of transactions between the firm's clients, hemp farmers, and extractors. His role later progressed into domestic and international expansion, including developing sales teams and building a hemp agricultural plan for the country of Angola. In 2018, Damon formed the Hemp No. This was his opportunity to leverage his knowledge and experience to increase awareness of hemp products through the great state of Texas and beyond. In 2020, Damon co-founded IOE Hemp Transport, a family-owned and operated transportation company, bridging 2 years of experience in transportation and hemp. Damon has a master's in business administration at Capella University, a bachelor's from the University of North Texas, the Mean Green. Thank you for joining us today, Damon, and welcome to the Hemp Show.
Thank you, Mark. Like I said, just very excited to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get into this. Let's get into your experience, kind of starting from the top, especially where you got started with your cousin Eric Logan, and then how that kind of introduced you to hemp and the commodity side of things.
Yeah, I think one thing that is pretty consistent when you talk about the cannabis space is that everybody has a story on how they got in. My cousin Eric, when he started his company, LV Trust, he brought me in as a financial analyst because he really wanted to help the farmers. That's where it really all began. I love the conversation we had before with Maureen that at the end of the day, we have to protect the farmers. And it was back in the time when really CBD and hemp was kind of going through a wild west kind of phase. So Eric brought me in and I was able to really get down to the ground roots of talking to farmers and really understand the hemp space and how we really can help the hemp farmer, help the extractors, processors, make sure that they're getting their just due when it comes to their crops and products.
Right. Now when this is a hemp commodities company and you were a financial analyst between hemp farmers and extractors, was this kind of more of the industrial side of, it says extractors, but what kind of form? Was it more the medical CBD side, or were you also working with the industrial, more hemp fiber side of the market?
It's really a little bit of both at the end of the day. We really reached out and had a chance to talk to a lot of co-ops over in North Carolina. Really got down with a lot of farms in Colorado, and especially he was located in Portland, Oregon. So that was where the actual facility, the company was located. So it really touched on both sides of those spectrums.
Okay. And when were you in Texas the whole time?
Yeah, I work in Texas. And actually, IOE Hemp Transport is in Texas. I'm located in North Texas, right outside of Dallas. So yeah, I've always been a Texas guy. And actually, my cousin Eric, he's from Texas originally. So he always saw the vision of where Texas was going to go eventually. Texas, as you know, many people know, we're a proud state. Now, I say the great state of Texas, but I make a joke. Ever since the Snowmageddon we just had, I retired the great for about 6 months.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. That was definitely not fun to see. I actually, believe it or not, was born in Texas.
Okay,
I got a little claim there. However, I've been in California since I was an infant, so
you've been whitewashed.
California guy. It does say Texas on my driver's license, I think, or where I was born. Oh well. So let's talk about the Hemp No. Obviously, raising awareness, using your knowledge and experience. What got you really in the game to go ahead and form that, and then what are you doing with the Hemp No?
Yeah, so with the Hemp No, what I saw through the time working with my cousin passed in 2019 of colon cancer. So what I saw even previous to that, though, as we were talking to different entities about hemp and everything, that as the CBD space is going to grow, for instance, you got to have the education portion of it, because we expect people to use something they really have never really heard of before. So I saw a real gap in the education part of it. So that's where the hemp know comes from. The hemp knowledge. What we specialized in was really the education of talking to different conventions. We were across different conventions, actually talking to retailers in our areas, all across Texas, Colorado, really talking to them about how to educate the consumer and really let them know that this is not some kind of cure-all magical bean, but what this can do, this can really be a great supplement in your lives and make your life much better than what it is today.
Excellent, excellent. So all of that, everything we just talked about, brought you to starting IOE Hemp Transport. Your knowledge, your background, your experience with hemp, and then also another side of things in transportation. So can you talk a bit about how you got started there, and then also the experience that your family has on the transportation side of things that kind of brings this all together and makes, IOE Hemp Transport just great when it comes to transporting hemp goods?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, Mark. My wife's father, he actually has been 20 years in logistics and transportation logistics, and so we talked about it for the past couple of years, actually, really about how can we merge my background in hemp and his expertise in transportation. And then what we came up with in 2020 is said, hey, let's go ahead and just move forward with hemp transportation. Because I mean, he has transported everything from, light poles down to even small, cabbage and farm products. So he has a vast amount of background in just transporting just different products. And what we really saw again was just a gap, because I think all of us in this industry have a responsibility to help build the infrastructure. When you look at everything in your home was brought by a truck. Okay, a semi or a box truck or something brought your product so you can use it today. So in hemp, there's been a real huge gap in that, and I just saw opportunity that we can really help build this infrastructure, educate farmers, educate processors, and really help shore up this industry even further.
Yeah, let's dive into some of the details there. So, obviously, transporting hemp can have its issues. Especially, we've all heard about confiscations happening. I haven't heard about that nearly as much, but when the 2018 Farm Bill passed and hemp was flowing from state to state, and some states still had some pretty terrible views of hemp at the time. What does the difference look like between transporting, just say, a normal piece of unregulated cargo versus transporting 1,000 pounds of biomass? Like, what does that look like from your end, as far as getting all the paperwork set up and what the farmer needs and the COAs and all the above?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you look at, let's say, hemp flower, it smells like, looks like, feels like marijuana. So that's going to be something that is automatically going to be a call out for any logistic company. But for us, we believe in making the process as easy and simple for our farmers and also complete. I've been doing customer service for over 20 years. So that's something that we bring to the consumer. Number one is customer service and availability. Number two, we bring a structure to them that they need to have a COA that shows a 0.3. They need also to have a proper sealage of the products, make sure it's packaged properly, make sure that we have a correct bill of lading that we have. So, and also what some special we do at IOE Hemp is that we actually introduce the farmers to their driver to give them that extra. It's the same. You can ship small packages of hemp, through FedEx or UPS and risk that. But the key thing about it, knowing the driver, being able to communicate and have that relationship, and building that bond early, I found has been very successful for our business.
Excellent. Now, when transporting hemp, is that hemp able to be insured during transportation?
Yes. And so what we also do, as we pull up to your farm or to your extraction company, for example, we show you a actual insurance through our carrier. We show you the bonded insurance that we already have co-written through your actual estimate. So you have the comfort and the security to know that when I talk to let's say a farmer, for instance, they tell me that they want to insure for 10,000, I'm going to show you paperwork that we have insured your cargo shipment for $10,000, and it really gives that comfort. Going back to that customer service, making sure that you are going to be able to track your product, know that it's insured from door to door, and know that you have it in good hands with IOE Hemp Transport.
Excellent. Now, with obviously the business being relatively new, having started and founded in the worst year on record in the history of the U.S., basically, no, but in 2020, how has 2020 treated you as far as starting a business? And have you been able to really kind of grow and expand in this crazy world that we live in? We live in a sci-fi movie right now.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. I think every company, period, has to learn how to flex. And in the beginning, we thought it was going to be one thing, we had to flex immediately. But what we have found that really during the year is we deal more in the smaller shipments of hemp. Okay, of course you have your harvest period that comes, around August, September, October, around that time. But it's hit us in certain areas, but we've been able to rebound by really zeroing in to going back to my network that I've built over being in this industry for the past 4 years. So I think that's what has secured IOE Hemp Transport, and especially with my father-in-law looking at me, he said, "Hey, you got me in this business now, and this coronavirus. Let's go ahead. What's the next steps?" And so with me building the network I've had over the past 4 years, we're able to really sustain and really push forward, and we're just so excited for 2021.
Excellent. Well, the year's already gotten off to a bit of a better start, but so what is looking forward to 2021 and then say 2022, what does the future look like for IOE Hemp?
What we're really looking forward to is really going back to the hemp node, going back to what my cousin, Eric Logan taught me, really about educating the consumer, making sure that when we talk to the farmers, making sure that they understand that when you are going to transport hemp, it shouldn't be an afterthought. We know by the time harvest comes, most farmers are down to their last dollars. Okay. So instead of getting down and waiting and thinking about at that time how I'm going to transport my hemp shipment, we need to be thinking about that 3 or 4 months ahead of time, so we can get it within the budget and know how to properly, price out our harvest for the year and make sure it's not just a last afterthought. So really for IOE Hemp Transport, we're continuing to educate, and really I'm looking to build stronger bonds even with the extraction side. That's something that I really want to build up even more for hemp-derived products also. So that's the future for IOE Hemp Transport.
Okay, right. Well, let's talk about that real quick. So right now, what's the what's the primary product that's being transported, and are you able to accommodate, let's say, more products that need certain climate parameters, they need refrigeration, that type of stuff?
Yeah, so right now we have two refrigeration trucks, and also we have 3 other regular semis, and we also have 10 of our small fleet transports that we have. So we're able to accommodate all various types of actual loads. And so that's another thing, Mark, that we've been really trying to educate and get out also, that we can take it. It's not just biomass that we can do, but we can cover a lot of other gambits when it comes to hemp-derived CBD, period.
Very cool. So obviously with the state of Texas, there's been kind of a big push toward hemp. I mean, we get a lot of hemp farmers from Texas, including I believe one that's going to be on in a minute here.
Yeah.
But so where are you seeing most of the transportation happen to and from? Where are you guys managing most of the logistics?
Most logistics are coming from Oregon and Colorado. And really surprisingly, Mark, it's coming a lot. We have a repeat load coming from Oregon down to San Antonio that happened on repeat to actual a bar that actually is doing hemp infused beer, which is kind of incredible. So it's really Texas.
I'm going there. I'm going there very soon.
I'll give you the address, but Texas is really, I'm excited. Texas is going to be probably one of the biggest providers. Sid Miller, our commissioner, has done an extraordinary job of really trying to build up the infrastructure, even going through the coronavirus pandemic that we're going through currently. He's done a great job to try to shore up Texas so we can be one of the leaders in the hemp industry. And IOE Hemp Transport, we're connecting, and that's one of our foundations. We want to be involved in every transaction.
Very cool. Well, this is great. So if you're interested in connecting with Damon and IOE Hemp Transport, please add them to your network on CannTrade. You can also place orders and ask questions directly from CannTrade. We're going to post that information in the webinar chat, also in the CannTrade feed and in the podcast and YouTube show notes. Once again, thank you very much, Damon.
Thank you so much, Mark, for the opportunity. This is awesome.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.